Alright, what's up everyone? So today we are headed down to, where we're going doesn't matter actually. But anyways, headed out and so I've got this really big thing that's going on right now. Most of you have probably already heard, but we had a baby. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. But I didn't want to let that get in the way of at least doing what I'm still doing and getting into helping everyone and all the orders and content and all that stuff. So took like a week off, back to work. But it's been a blessing. So thank you to everyone. Sleep has been, you know, okay. Aside the fact, I'm in a different car as you guys can probably see. Why I'm in it right now is just because it's my wife's car. I bought it for my wife. It's not for me to drive, but that said, she's not driving right now because she's at home with our baby, so I get to at least try it out for a week, right? Now, getting into the whole car thing, I have had a lot of people really, I guess feel very disappointed in what BMW has done. And that's gonna be the whole G82 M3, M4 thing. There's a lot of people who I feel like have gotten struck with how the German engineers have designed the M4, or the M3 and M4. Now, needless to say, every single new generation M car, I feel like people have hated the concept. They really disliked the production vehicle. And by the time it comes out, they see it on the road a few times, the competition version, and then, you know, the version with all the upgraded parts and all that kind of stuff comes out. I feel like people change their mind. And I can tell you because I was working at BMW when the F80 came out. I saw the F80, I drove the F80 before it hit the US market. Okay, before it became onto a production line vehicle and before it was available at the dealership. I drove that car on the track beforehand. You can see a picture of it right here. I literally had a chance to see this car. I drove these cars and they, you know, like I said, they were something that kind of was a little iffy, but once I saw it, I sat in it, I drove it, I saw it like all day and all night, then that became like, ooh, that's not too bad. It looks pretty good. And I can kind of justify that. And I think it's the same thing. So I'm just putting it out there. I know everyone hates it right now, but I think people are going to get used to it. And more importantly, I think people are going to actually end up liking it, and it's going to end up being the new benchmark and standard like it always has been. I know a lot of people know that I have acquired the new M3 and M4. As a matter of fact, let me show you some proof, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're just saying that or whatever, but let me show you. I put a deposit on it. Sharp BMW, Grand Rapids, Michigan, BMW dealership, client advisor, Dan Erdai. I appreciate the hookup. Check it out. So here are the docs. You can see here 2021 M4 Coupe. This is the build that they're just allocated, but we might make some decisions on changing it a little bit, but you can kind of see it's got all pretty much the executive and parking assistance and stuff like that. So signed, paid the deposit. You can see it's to me, and all the paperwork for the dealership and stuff like that. So now the question arises, why did I get one? Why in the world would I want such an ugly car, is what people are saying, and all that kind of stuff? I have my reasons. I'm going to tell you the very first thing that came across my mind when I saw the car and what I wanted to do with that car. first thing is, because there was so much negativity towards that front end, in the business that I'm in, I wanted to make something more appealing and attractive to people. So I've worked with a ton of people, and I'm talking with a ton of people and working some big plans to provide a solution. Now the details are going to come later on, but the solution is going to help making it more appealing to the market, the people who are coming from the F30, F80, or the E90, or even like older than that, or maybe a different platform, to give it that appealing look to these people without hindering performance and all that kind of stuff, because those are not only looking that way, but they are designed and purposeful in a way that it's going to help the vehicle, so without hindering or affecting those bits and parts. So what am I going to do? We're working with people. We're going to make some things, a few different things and some options and more things along the way. But I bought the car and I wanted the launch car. Okay, that's the key word. It's not like a production line regular car that I'm just going to order. I wanted the first one that this dealership had, and I made it very clear that I wanted the first one. And there were other options. I could have gotten the competition model and all that kind of stuff, but I had to wait an extra 5 weeks, and that was time that I could not waste. So I wanted the first one. It's gonna get sent to California, and we're gonna go ahead and scan the car and get it going. So you guys can hold me accountable to that. We're gonna get the first car. We're gonna do a lot of R&D and a lot of testing with this car. It's gonna be sent out to CSF, Studio RSR, Precision Raceworks. All these people that I have a close relationship with, we are going to go ahead and produce some awesome things for this new motor, the S58, this new chassis, the G82. So I'm doing it because I want to be a trailblazer in this industry, in this part of the market, because usually I'm not the last, but I'm like right in the middle. You know, with the E92, I was kind of there a couple of years after it came out, and then like, you know, for example, like the F80 was a couple of years after, and like, I wasn't picking up like the low-hanging fruit, but I wasn't first, and I want to do that this time. I want to be the first, and I want to really show this market, you know, what's possible, what we can do, and really bring in that clientele. Because it's a premium clientele. These are the people who are buying these cars brand new. If they do mod it, which a lot of them won't, they're looking for something, you know, like right there. They don't have a lot of options. So I'm giving them these options. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Now, aside from that, what sort of personal pleasure am I getting out of this car? Well, it's been a while since I got a new car. This one doesn't count. This is my wife's car, Tesla Model 3. It's not the point. It's been a while since I got a new BMW, which was a long time ago. I've gotten the E92 in 2011, and I got that new. Then I got the E92 M3 in like 16 maybe. And then I got the E90 M3, and then I got an F80, and then I got another F80, but those are all secondhand. So this is the second new BMW that I'm gonna get. So there's also a lot of people who want to know why I'm gonna do the new M3 and M4 versus like, you know, like a bunch of other cars that are out there or are coming out that have a lot of potential as well. If I'm gonna be completely honest, the M3 and M4 is kind of like that lifeline, the foundation. It has a lot of it holds a big benchmark in the automotive industry, I'll put it that way. So it has a very, very long legacy, and it's not like the M8 where it's a new car. There is no other M8 competition other than this current generation, this current model, this current version of it. So this is now BMW's E30, E36, E46, E90, F80, 6th generation M. So it has a lot that it has to prove, and it's making a ton of power. I want to talk to you about the F80 that I'm currently driving, and actually why I feel like the F80 is not something that I hate to say it, but why I truly enjoy. And I'll make another video on this another time, but in a nutshell, where my expectations are for the M3 and M4. And by the way, I'm getting the M4, not the M3, because the M4 that I'm getting comes sooner than the M3. Again, I needed the first one. I would prefer the M3, but I'm getting the M4. So, same motor, similar chassis, etc. The reason why I have the stigma for this new M car, and where my expectations are and how they were set, was because of the F80 that I'm driving. The F80 M3 that I'm driving, beautiful car, okay? It's an amazing piece of machinery. The engineering, unbelievable. I'm saying all these great things, but my personal preference and experience with the car, I would not really enjoy driving or love to care for this car for a long-term period. Primarily because it's got so much technology. It would be a wonderful stock, I'm a business 9-to-5 owner, like a business guy, or like I work 9 to 5, you know, manager of some company, and I make good money and I just want to get a new M car. It'd be great because it's got everything you want in a modern age car that's fun, you know. Price-wise, it's appealing, it looks good, it handles good, it's very fast, it really is, very easily, very tunable, pretty reliable, to be honest. Probably one of the most fuel-efficient M cars made, and just the list goes on, you know. And to be honest, it's because of all those things that I find it a little bit challenging to absolutely love the car. And that's kind of what I'm thinking with this new car. It's going to be a computer on wheels. It's going to drive great. It's going to be really fast. It's going to look okay, hopefully, when I'm done with it. Probably comfortable, a lot of technology, and all that kind of stuff. The electronic steering, and the list goes on. The transmission's probably going to be super smooth. But it's not a raw car. And that's kind of what I miss, which I feel like they started plateauing off in the E90, like E92 M3. And even then, arguably, a lot of the people who were prior to that would say this is a computer on wheels, which I can probably say I understand. So the E46 would probably be for a lot of the diehard, or even before that, but the E46 would probably be the very last bit where people would say it's like the last true M or whatever it is. But personally speaking, I think that the E90, E92M is kind of where it left off for me. It had that nice raw feeling when you're driving. It's really just, you have that connection with the car. And I feel like I'm gonna miss that connection point for this new G80, G82 as well, unfortunately. What are my long-term plans with the car? It's been confirmed, if everything obviously comes together, but it's been confirmed the car will be at SEMA 2021. Crossing our fingers if it does exist, because we know it didn't happen this year. But we've already got everything planned out, in a sense, just the gist of it. We didn't go into details, but we have the gist of the idea there. It will be a SEMA 2021 car. We have a lot of things that we want to do to it. So I have to keep that market up until probably that second-hand owner generation comes through, like the leases are over. So it's got to be probably 3 years. Once that market comes down, then I could probably step out of it. Because by then you're going to have all these, you know, companies that are getting these cars relatively inexpensively and picking these things up inexpensively and making parts inexpensively and offering them inexpensively, and then that market becomes saturated like every market does later on. But I'm trying to make that jump gain first before that happens. You can look at a lot of companies like PSM Dynamics. They did the first, you know, M4 wide body, and it's been great. And now there's a lot of PSM replicas. and that's just something you got to deal with, unfortunately. So yeah, so I think that's the plan. I'll probably have it for a few years. I don't plan to keep the car very long, unfortunately, but I will say it's going to be a very fun car. We'll host a lot of events. We'll be at a lot of events. We'll be at every major event in California. I'll coordinate everything. We'll make sure the car makes its debut at SEMA. We'll have everything going with that car for the entire time I have it. So it'll be awesome, needless to say. But it's gonna be a very challenging experience because people are gonna not like it. And my job, I feel like, is to make people like it. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Now that I'm a little bit more aware of my schedule, I'm gonna try and post another video here shortly. I keep saying these things and I feel like I can never attest to making them happen, unfortunately, but I know what I must do. So I'm gonna be making this video, I'll be making the next video, and the video after that. I already have them planned out, so hopefully you'll see them here coming in shortly in segments. But if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the comment box below. Please hit that like button. That like button does help me make more videos. It does help me bring more viewership, and more importantly, it does help me see the support and the motivation to make more content. So if you like what you see, if you want to see more of what you see, and if you like BMWs and want to see more of what we've got going on, we've got the E92, the F80, the G82. I am on the hunt for another E92 M3. So if you like seeing that stuff, hit the subscribe button. We will go ahead and do the best we can to make you happy. That said, I appreciate it. Marshmallow.com. Peace out.